watching Nile Cruise. Moving to another segment. 93 countries worldwide have passed right to information (RTI) laws. Among Arab countries, Jordan was the first to take the initiative in 2007, followed by Tunisia in 2011 after the Jasmine Revolution, and Yemen in 2012. Now it's Egypt's turn to pass its right to information in an attempt to improve economic conditions for investments, establish a system for accountability, and fight a long legacy of corruption deeply embedded in the Egyptian state. For this topic, I'm joined with Dina Yehia. She's a legal researcher to be speaking to us more about this topic. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Right. At the beginning, I'd like to get your insight about this motion towards the rights to information, or the RTI.
Well, it's definitely been, the motion started before even the revolution, before 2011, but it's definitely gained momentum more in 2012, early 2012, with 3 different drafts, which is very welcome from different civil society organizations as well as the government. And there has definitely been improvement. Like, the latest version has been submitted by the Ministry of Justice, and that's the version that we're currently working on, and that's currently going to be passed.
Yes. And in your opinion, it was mentioned that this is sort of helping towards the economic development. What is the tie between this and the economic development?
Well, it definitely would be helping towards economic development, because one of the main causes, one of the main problems in Egypt is corruption, and corruption means that a lot of money is leaking. So when when the government invests money for some development school program in some governorate, and they spend the money, but then the program is never done because it's leaked, and they have to re-spend the money again, that's money wasted. So by covering up, by having more transparency, we will be able to uncover more of these things, and that saves the government a lot of money on the long run.
But at the same time, the government seems not really taking this to the fast pace. There has been a lot of resistance, I understand.
That is definitely true. Compared to Tunisia, that passed right away, and to Yemen, we've been working at it for 2 years, and there has been delays, but there has also been improvements. We're optimistic. Hopefully it'll come out in the next couple of weeks. There seems to be signs of goodwill this time, and we'll see. Hopefully it'll come out.
What are the main concerns of the government, in your opinion?
What are the main concerns?
What are the main concerns of the government for this motion?
What do you mean? Like, why are they resistant?
Yeah, exactly.
There are many reasons. Like before.
Is it about the draft itself?
Not necessarily. Like before, like in general, a Right to Information Act is a threat to governments that have not been used to working in
Privacy,
the sunlight.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, like they have a lot to hide. The administrative system isn't necessarily developed so that, like, to handle all of this. So like resistance is normal, because, and it's good actually, because as long as it's being pressured, there are lots of examples where when the government actually unilaterally decides to take that initiative, it's problematic. But like the resistance is normal, and I think it's more just because the government wants to keep its business to itself, and that's the norm. That has been the norm over the past 60, 30 years.
Yes. And when you say right to information, do you mean the previous information or the upcoming ones?
What do you mean?
So is it about all of the information that the government has previously, or is it about the upcoming information? From now onwards, do I share my information, or do I have to share my information from previous years?
No, absolutely. It involves, like, once the law is passed, you can submit a request to the government that asks about information that, like, supposedly they have, and it could date back to 10 years back. It's about information that they have.
Yes.
Regardless of when that was.
And how would this benefit the citizens, the normal citizens?
One of the main benefits of RTI is that it empowers the people, because it allows you. So, for example, imagine a scenario where you submit your son, he wants to go into a really good school, but then the school turns him down, and for no apparent reason. He got the scores and he passed, but there's no specific reason. Through RTI, you request that you see the records of the school and see the grades of everyone else that got in, and see exactly where it is. So it empowers people to hold the government accountable.
Yes.
And Yeah.
and transparent. That's
Yeah.
definitely. And that comes to the part where you're speaking about the economic climate, where it helps, or sorry, the investment climate, where it helps definitely the economic development. Where if you're able to get the information, you have a transparent system, definitely on the financial side more than anything else. It gives a positive climate for investment.
That for sure. Yeah.
And if you tell us more about the process itself and what you're looking towards the future for the RTI, and where do you think this should be landing and when?
Well, that's a good question, but it actually brings me to the main issue. Like the way I see the future of RTI means that like certain problems that exist in the current draft needs to be addressed. And even though the draft there has definitely been a lot of progress from the government side, there are still serious threats that threaten to undermine the law.
Yes.
These include the composition of the Information Council that they create, the powers that they give to it, and also exemptions, because in every law there has to be exemptions from the laws that the government's allowed to give out. And there has to be redress, and there needs to be accommodations to these issues in the law itself. Also, and this is something that has recently come to my attention, the 2012 Constitution had a really great article, Article 50, that allowed for the right and protected
Supports,
it.
yeah.
But that article, after the Committee of 10's amendments, the article is still there, but it removed removed the last couple of sentences from that article, and that makes it like it no longer obligates the law that is to come to hold to hold the persons, the government entities that don't disclose information accountable.
So
And
does
that's
this give you an indication that it's not going to be happening?
Hopefully not. It just needs to come to people's attention. The media needs to focus a lot more on it,
Yes.
and that's another very important point, because no matter how good the law actually is, a very important part of how it will actually, whether it'll actually function and do the job it's supposed to do, goes back to civil society and the media. Like, it has to be like Mexico, before it passed its law, there was a rate of like 10 articles a week or a month, I believe, before in the period prior to the legislation, and that definitely helped. Mexico has one of the best RDI laws.
Yes, and do you think there is an important role by the community to start injecting ideas within the 50-member committee that is drafting the political charter for Egypt, or the constitution? Do you think it's a good time to have it constitutionalized, if I may say?
Absolutely, it is. The right was for the first time constitutionalized under the 2012, and still is. It's just that there was a minor amendment that might be problematic. Like, there's no reason why that amendment should go, and like reversing it to what it was would be, it's an easy way out of it.
Yes. Right. Finally, Dina Yehia, legal researcher, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us. It has been a pleasure to have you with us at Night Cruise.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's move on now for a very short break, and we're returning back for more.